I will be talking today with Jay Meier, who's from FaceTec. There are Diamond sponsors at the upcoming Identity Week America conference in Washington, D.C. We're 2 weeks away from this great conference. It's really great to speak to you today, Jay. All about your company, your 3D liveness detection, photo ID scanning technology. Would you mind taking us through your timeline, how long you've been set up for, and what your products?
Sure, Evie. Thanks for having me today. FaceTec is the global leading provider of three-dimensional face liveness and matching technology. We have a toolkit of other types of capabilities, including card validation and OCR, but we are not a service provider. We provide a tool set as an OEM provider. So our customers and partners would embed our capabilities into their respective apps and systems to verify and re-verify their customers and maybe employees or whoever. The company was founded in 2013. I was first introduced to the company in 2016 and became quite excited about the technology. FaceTec literally invented a new kind of a biometric that is substantially superior to what else is out there, and in particular for remote unsupervised identity verification and re-verification. So does that answer your question? Good.
It certainly does, yeah. So can you provide us some use cases, how you fit into the identity and fraud management landscape? Obviously, this is expanding. We've got more exhibitors than we've ever had at the show. Where do you fit in the marketplace?
Well, shameless plug, we're the leader in what we do. FaceTec is going to do 2.6 billion liveness sessions in the next 12 months. Over 1 billion people have verified their identity using our technology. In remote unsupervised identity management schemes, you have to know who you're enrolling into a service, and then you have to ensure that it's the same person returning to access the service once they're enrolled. So, for example, a bank account, the bank may want to provide online services, and a new customer could enroll for a new bank account online. The bank will have an identity verification process that they go through, and then they would like to know that it is a living human being on their system in real time while they're verifying this person's identity. While they do that, they can capture what we call a 3D face map and bind it to the verified identity profile that's built when you enroll in the system. From that point forward, you have a verified biometric, liveness proven biometric bound to a verified identity. And from that point on, the bank can ask the account owner to re-verify themselves or authenticate themselves every time they try and access that bank account online. And importantly, estimates show that roughly 85% of cybersecurity breaches, hacks, online frauds, and identity crimes all relate to the transference of a valid credential to an unauthorized person. So what FaceTec does is create binding between a real living human being, the actual owner of the identity and the account or whatever, to the account profile, so that we know that it is the same person accessing those services every single time from that point forward. Make sense?
And this is going to be the title of your session. It's all about kind of identifying the person and not the identity credentials. So where is the identity space headed, both with the challenges, the fraud challenges we face, and your solution? Have you considered, expanding the modalities, or is face really a reliable solution?
Well, I mean, the short answer is that 3D face liveness and matching is far superior than what else is out there, and for a number of different reasons. First of all, you know, everybody has an identity. Okay, we each have multiple identities. We have an identity that you might design on Facebook, or for your dating apps, or just for online interactions generally. But then there's this thing that, let's call it a legal identity, right? In the United States, that identity would be described by an official driver's license or a passport issued by the US State Department, for example. In another country, it might be a national ID card or some form of government credential that says that this identity is legitimate. Okay. The problem is that there's very little that binds the identity to the living human being. And that is the gap in the ecosystem where 85% of the frauds occur. Okay. So those government identity profiles out there are verified. They are the strongest identity data we have about an individual citizen or consumer, right? When you apply for a mortgage with the bank doesn't ask you for your Facebook profile. They ask you for your legal identity documentation, your passport or your national ID or your driver's license, right? So the key for us, and the key for mitigating online fraud and cybersecurity incidents and identity-related crimes, is to ensure that this living human being is in fact the person that's represented by that government identity, right? And historically, and very consistently, almost universally, those government identities utilize a photograph of the person. That's typically how we bind that person to the identity. The problem is that we don't have a very good way of ensuring that the same person that is represented by the identity is the same person online on the other side of the planet when they're trying to access the privilege, right? So we need to make that a digitized and automated system so that we don't have to rely on a human being actually looking at a driver's license or looking at a photo of a person, right? So the fact that the infrastructure is based on faces means that there's a lot of sunk costs there. It means that these identity schemes are likely not going to move to some other modality of biometric, okay? And liveness is essential because of presentation attacks and spoof attacks and deepfake injection attacks out there. And social engineering is another example of how people get a hold of a valid credential that they're not authorized to use. And so we can use that face that was captured and bound to the government identity profile to ensure that this person is in fact the person represented by that government identity. Make sense?
It does, yeah. This is such a fundamental part of proving someone's identity. We really look forward to welcoming you to the conference this year. Lastly, did you want to kind of expand on that presentation that you're going to be delivering on this? What can people expect?
Sure. Well, my presentations often are a little bit controversial. The establishment in identity management frequently does not like what I have to say because I tend to poke holes in the systems that are existing out there. But I think it's essential because those systems haven't done much to stop identity related frauds online thus far, right? So something needs to change. We are by far the biggest vendor in what we do, right? We're also global in nature. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of partners and customers around the world, including government agencies, including very large companies and more. So the presentation is going to focus on the binding that's lacking out there, right? Again, the transfer of legitimate credentials to someone that's not authorized to use them. So how does that happen? The presentation is going to describe how that happens, why it's a problem, right? And then it will go into what we need to do to solve the problem, which largely involves liveness proven biometrics. And then we're going to talk about a simple and easy way to bind a legal identity to privileges to a verified human being in real time out there without having to ping the government's database to ensure that they are the legitimate person, right? I'm going to describe a method to bind that legal identity to verified biometric data from that person in a way that allows the citizen consumer to have it in their wallet, to have it private, to ensure that they are the only person that controls it, right? And it's portable and it's free. And so we hope that this will cause the light bulbs to turn on in the industry and really stop some fraud out there. Make sense?
Yeah. This is the point of the conference, obviously returning on the 11th and 12th of September. Look forward to seeing you there.
Well, we are excited to be there. I am very excited for the opportunity to share some thoughts and ideas. And I hope everybody can stop and visit with me afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you.